Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
When we think about the kingdom, most brothers think of like the small, minute terms. No, but the vastness of the kingdom, the greatness of the kingdom, dealing with the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the information alone that we're going to receive when we get to the kingdom. That's on a whole nother level. Never mind the riches and the lands and the women and the children, and be in your chariot, sipping some yayan, on your chalice, your gold chalice with all them rubies and emeralds and sapphires and them different precious stones, going to places.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
The brother with the most vivid imagination out there can't imagine what the kingdom of heaven has in store, what it's going to be like. What we're basing the kingdom of heaven as far as riches and having a good time and things of that nature is just based off of our experiences in this world and what we think having a good time is and living the life is.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
No one, no matter how vivid a brother's imagination is, there's nothing in comparison to what's coming. You can't even imagine. You can't even paint into picture or write into words or give an explanation that even comes close to the majesty that's coming. We are destined for greatness in the new righteous kingdom.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shah. All right. And what I want to get into today, going into there's a tone being set in America. Okay, as a lot of brothers, have been reporting, about what's going on out there in LA, the rise, the deportations, so forth and so on. And we have to remember when we look at these things, look at what's happening in the spirit and look at the reaction and look at what they're doing to bring in a solution, okay, to the reaction of something that they're doing, okay? And it's a method that these devils use often, all right, problem, reaction, solution, okay? And where they create problems, okay, cause a reaction, and then they come in with a solution, okay, of something that they wanted to do before they caused the problem. Okay, and it's a age-old formula, okay, that these devils, use for order out of chaos. All right, and they use the problem, okay, reaction, solution, okay, method to bring about their agenda. Okay, because they create the problem, allow the reaction, and the solution that they bring is the thing that they wanted to bring before they caused the problem. Okay. So I want to I got a few videos. I want to get into some scriptures as well, because we're just seeing prophecy, speak louder and louder. Let's see. So let's go ahead and get this precept, and then we'll get into the video, and then we'll roll in the spirit from there. So let's go here to the book of Proverbs 28 and 15. It says, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, okay, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. All right. And in this system, this devil, has made the masses poor. Okay. This oppressive system, like he's a wild animal, and he's just ferocious over the people. All right. And you look how, you go from the 50s until now to where you had, a man able to support a family off one income, a house, car, vacation, children, wife, okay, and they was good, savings, okay, till it went to the point where, two people had to work, okay, and then you had two people working, but still couldn't cover it. Now, they started loaning money to where people, started having two jobs in the household, but in debt. Okay, to now to the point where people live in debt. They live off debt. Okay, so this man, runs society, all right, as a ferocious animal, and we're seeing his nature show more and more. Esau nature is beginning to show more and more. See, the world gonna see why this man is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. Okay, because we're past the era of this man trying to be politically correct. Okay, him trying to pretend, like he has, your best interest in mind. See, he's going beyond that. Okay, he's finna go into his nature. Okay, the violent man. Okay, so let's get into these videos, and then we get some more scriptures. So when you go here, I believe it's Democracy Now. All right, and it's fair use. Video is only for educational purposes. I'm not making any profits or monetary gains, for educational purposes only. So let's play this, and it's like we'll just get into these things, man, because we always know that these devils, everything that we see is scripted. Now you have, authentic, frustrations mingled in, to the script. Okay. But best believe that this devil, okay, is pushing the psyops, okay, to bring forth, okay, a pre agenda that he had before, this problem came to place, man. And we're going to see justification for more police presence. All right, the National Guards have been dispatched. I mean, all right, now they're talking about dispatching Marines on American soil, man. Okay, so this lets you know that this whole thing of a constitution is over. Okay, it ain't no more, all right, rights and laws. See, that's dwindling as we speak, and that's one thing that they're showing you, because this thing is going into a technocracy, man. Okay, so let's play this. Okay.
Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give. We begin today's show in Los Angeles, where President Trump has deployed the California National Guard in defiance of California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. This comes after protests erupted against ICE's military-style raids in and around L.A. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, has also threatened to deploy 500 active-duty Marines from Camp Pendleton. White House advisor Stephen Miller labeled the ICE protests an insurrection. On Sunday, Trump warned this could be just the beginning of deploying troops on U.S. streets.
We're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart.
Earlier today, Trump wrote on social media, "Looking really bad in L.A., bring in the troops," unquote. California Governor Gavin Newsom plans to sue the Trump administration today. He wrote, quote, "Commandeering a state's National Guard without consulting the governor of that state is illegal and immoral," unquote. This marks the first time since the 1960s a president's deployed the National Guard without a governor's request. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders said Trump is, quote, moving this country rapidly into authoritarianism. California State Senator Scott Wiener said, quote, this is what fascism looks like, unquote. On Sunday, police forces in Los Angeles fired rubber bullets, flashbang grenades, and tear gas at protesters who gathered to condemn the ICE raids and deployment of the National Guard. Sunday night, L.A. police declared all of downtown Los Angeles an unlawful assembly. Over the past week, federal immigration agents arrested about 118 people in the L.A. region. On Friday, agents also arrested David Huerta, president of the California branch of SEIU, that's Service Employees International Union. He was charged with obstruction, needed to be treated at the hospital because of his injuries. He remains in custody. On Sunday, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass decried the ICE raids and the Trump administration's response.
What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you raid Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation.
This comes as Trump's borders.
Yeah, you have to remember, like I said, this is all, a script, okay? The governor, Gavin Newsom, is talking about he's going to sue Trump, because he went above, him and dispatch, the California National Guard. Okay. And what they're showing you is that, look, this is a federal government takeover. All right. This whole bill with this big, beautiful bill. Okay. It's pretty, one of the main things in there is that states will have no say so within the AI infrastructure. Okay, so what we're seeing is a government triumph. All right, these states, these states are becoming less powerful, and the government is becoming more powerful, and the government is being transitioned to a technocracy, man. Okay, and Gavin Newsom, he's in the loop. Okay, he's not mad at Trump, and he's not sue Trump and do what? Okay, he's a felon, a convicted felon that's the president. You're gonna sue him and do what? Okay. Well, see, this is a game they play, the charades and, the skits that they put on. Okay, as if you have some people against it, some people for it. It's just a skit, but overall, what's happening? Okay, we're seeing, the prelude of martial law. Now, this is not saying that martial law is going to sweep the country, this weekend, but we're seeing glimpses of it. The tone is being set. Okay, to how things are going to be in America, man. The tone is being set. All right, for people just to see these visuals of troops, okay, police and citizen, this is a tone that's being set, man. Okay, and pretty soon these things are going to be normal. All right, and this man is going to showcase his nature more and more, his violent, all right, destructive nature more and more. Okay. You're going to see their sword, right? Their sword come out more and more. Okay. As we get to the point to where this man wants to push this new world order, man, more and more. Okay. So let's play some more.
Czar Tom Homan has threatened to have Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom arrested if they interfere with federal immigration enforcement. Homan spoke to NBC's Jacob Soboroff.
You cross that line. It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien. It's a felony to impede law enforcement from doing their job.
Do you think that the mayor of LA is doing that?
If she crossed that line, we'll ask the DOJ to prosecute. Do I think she's crossed the line? I don't think she's crossed the line yet. But I'm telling you, the warning we're sending is we're not going to tolerate people attacking our officers.
On Sunday, police in Los Angeles made at least 27 arrests. Officers repeatedly fired rubber bullets at protesters. One hit an Australian journalist as she was reporting from the streets.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving horseback firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
You just shut the fuck up.
You okay? I'm good.
In a minute, we'll go to...
And you know, you have to question everything. You know, and when are you women gonna realize what the hell are you even doing out here, man? Okay. So you look at this, and the guy, he just blatantly, you know, shoots this reporter, and they do things for shock value. Okay. So I'm looking at it, and you can tell, you know, when this guy, I'm gonna try to pause it to where he deliberately aims at her and shoots her in the leg. Okay, supposedly. Let's see if I can catch it.
Firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
Yeah. So you can see this guy, you see the smoke coming out. He just turns and faces her directly and just shoots out of nowhere like on some randoms. You know, I'm looking, I said, okay, where the bullet come from? He just turns and blasts her. Okay. So they do these things for shock value, man. You know, so it's always psyops and enchantments in play with this devil and his TV screen. All right. His medium. Okay. There's a tone being set. All right. Because you know they want to silence free speech. Okay. They be doing these Masonic rituals in front of us and all these different things. They want to silence, you know, free speech. Okay. They want one narrative, and their narrative to be the only thing going. Okay. So I say there's a tone being set. All right. Let's play a little more of it, then we'll segue to another video.
You just shut the fuck up.
You okay? I'm good.
In a minute, we'll go to Los Angeles to speak with one of the people who helped organize the protests against the ICE raids. But first, on Sunday, Democracy Now! Reached Janet Martinez, the co-founder of Indigenous Communities and Leadership, or Cielo, in Los Angeles to talk about the impact of the ICE raids and arrests.
Around 34,000 Indigenous people live in Los Angeles County, which is around 40% of the Indigenous population based on the census data alone, which we know is an undercount. So for us, we know a lot of community members have been impacted by the recent raids by ICE all over Los Angeles. We've gotten calls from the Zapotec community, from the Mixe community, and Quiche communities that have been detained during these raids.
For more, we are joined in Los Angeles by Ron Gochez, community organizer with Unión del Barrio and a high school history teacher. His group helped organize some of the protests in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so just as brother been saying, you know, they hit the northern tribe first and they hit Judah the worst. All right. So they jacking up. All right, the Northern Kingdom, you know, just randomly, and they're just random. They're not going to get, you know, these niggas with tattoos all over their goddamn face. Okay, the niggas just, you know, screwing, you know, the destructive, you know, the actual, you know, cartel and gang, you know, they're going to get Hector from a Home Depot, man. Okay, the nigga that, you know, do the roof by himself. You know, in 4 hours, they getting him, you know, but they leaving the worst here, okay, because they want to create uproar. They want a reaction out of the people, man. Okay, so let's go to this other video, and then we'll get some more precepts. We're gonna get these videos out the way. So you go here. It's the brother, the hopeful Lake 3, the brother Yaqua. So this is one he put up. So let's play this one, first few minutes of this one. Okay.
Breaking in Southern California tonight, President Trump says he is deploying the National Guard as protests erupt over federal immigration raids. Trump's border czar Tom Homan says 2,000 soldiers are heading to Los Angeles tonight, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth warns that if violence continues, active duty Marines at Camp Pendleton will also be mobilized. Crowds are flooding the streets for a second day. They're furious over the dozens of arrests during ICE raids across L.A. Protesters blocked traffic and clashed with federal agents today. Officers on the ground even fired tear gas into the crowds. California Governor Gavin Newsom is blasting the deployment, saying it will only escalate tensions. In New York, similar protests erupted in Lower Manhattan. At least 17 people were arrested today as demonstrators pushed back on ICE enforcement. Federal agents have been spotted near courthouses all week, and protesters say they're not backing down. Chicago is one of several cities now on high alert. This is video from Wednesday showing people taken into custody during an immigration check in the South Loop. The Department of Homeland Security says agents in Chicago and other major cities are being told to keep a close eye as officials closely watch the unrest in California.
Secretary Hegseth said that active duty Marines there at Camp Pendleton, there by San Diego, are on high alert and could be mobilized. Could we really see active duty Marines on the streets of Los Angeles?
You know, one of our core principles is maintaining peace through strength. We do that on foreign affairs and domestic affairs as well. I don't think that's heavy-handed. I think that's an important signal.
You don't think sending Marines into the streets of an American city is heavy-handed?
Well, we have to be prepared to do what is necessary, and I think the notice that might happen might have the deterrent effect.
Yeah, man, so your government, all right, is going to unleash Marines on you niggas, man. Okay, and this devil is all over the place, man. You know, this devil is all over the place trying to pull this new world order off, man. We're watching Esau get stretched thin trying to do this, man. This is beautiful, man. You know, Esau got way too much going on, man. Okay, you need all your Marines, all the shit that you into throughout the earth. You need all your Marines for foreign, you know, for foreign missions, man. Okay, you got the Marines, you know, dealing with protests. So this is something else, man. This is something bigger than, you know, a few Mexicans, you know, a few Ishmaelites pissed. Okay, you know, this is more than that. All right, these devils are setting the tone, and look at these devils, man. They ready to go there. Okay, these devils is ready to go there, man. You see, they tired of, you know, having to defend themselves, and, you know, they're tired of having, you know, dance around and be politically correct. See, these devils ready to get there, man, because they know he have but a short time. Okay, so let's play a little bit of this, and then we'll get some precepts. Okay. Yeah, this, like I said, this is just setting the tone. You know, I say we know we still have to have a marathon mindset in this thing, but we see a tone being set, because there's certain things that happen that you can't go back from. Okay, once you do particular things, once you let things escalate to a particular point, you can't go backwards. That's the new normal now. Okay, so let's just play some more. Esau said we gotta do whatever done. He said peace through strength. All right, that's a new world order slogan. It's peace through strength. You see.
ICE is being told to not go after criminals. The real president, Stephen Miller, wants social chaos and civil disruption. They want society to fall apart so they can do more authoritarian policies. Trump was at a UFC event last night, while at the same time threatening to send in the Marines to Los Angeles. The Marines, okay? At the same time, Trump's having a military parade in DC for his birthday to show extreme militarized force in American streets. They also want to normalize sending in the military to whatever protest they want to throughout America. We already know what Trump wanted to do his first term, and now all of that is becoming actualized. Remember, they are telling ICE to not go after criminals. They're telling ICE to put on their face coverings, These federal agents with no faces, no way to identify them, no way to hold them accountable. They want them to go into peaceful communities, working communities, and cause chaos. So if there's justified protests and there's some people who get violent, or maybe they send in some actors to cause violence to make things worse, because if you send in the military to peaceful protests, you can cause violence, okay? There's a thing called riot control. There's a way to handle peaceful protests. And this administration is doing whatever they can to pour gasoline on the fire, okay? They want to cause society to fall apart. They are literally telling you they don't care about going after criminals. They will go after peaceful people in their workplaces. They'll go after them at their immigration court hearings. People who try to go through the legal processes, they are abusing and terrorizing them for a reason. It's on purpose.
National Guard going to LA was not a reaction to what is happening. It was planned. What they did in LA to bring out resistance was planned. This was a master plan. You guys, and it's going to get worse. What's next is martial law. We're going to see more National Guard in other cities as well, and then martial law to follow. If you're not fucking prepped for that, you need to get prepped for that. And we need to continue to resist and resist and resist peacefully. But this shit is getting real.
Stand down. No, we here, man. All right, we here, and we have this. What we're going to see too is an increase of what you call agent provocateurs. You know, these atmosphere, this type of atmosphere is perfect for agent provocateurs. All right, it says an agent provocateur is a person who induces others to be violent or commit an illegal act in order to incriminate them or discredit a cause. Okay, so what you can see is agent provocateurs, okay, begin to do violent things, and this society has a herd mentality, man. Things catch on quick. Things are always trending. Okay, so these agent provocateurs, what can they do? They can set the tone with the actions that they do at these riots, man. Okay, at these different protests. Because going back, because you just go into that meaning of the tone that's being set. Okay, it says a tone. Just looked it up. It says tone being set. It says refers to a process of establishing a particular mood. Okay. Tone being set refers to the process of establishing a particular mood, character, or feeling for something like an event, relationship, or situation. It's about creating the emotional atmosphere, okay, or overall attitude that will likely prevail. This can be done through various means, including actions, agent provocateurs, words, the media, okay, and the physical, even and even the physical environment, man. Yeah, these certain staged events. Okay, so this devil is causing particular things happen to set a tone. All right, to take this thing to the next phase. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. So he sets the tone with the problem. Okay, he allows the reaction, then he comes in with the solution of what he always wanted to do, man. And this is a method, okay, of these devils, man. Okay, they run it over and over again. Okay, different situations, same method. So let's go here to Isaiah 19, and it's Isaiah 19 and 1, and it says the message came to me concerning Egypt. Okay, now it begins with a Yahushua return, but then it jumps back, okay, to the atmosphere that will be happening before his return. It said the message came to me, all right, concerning Egypt, and this Egypt is speaking of America. Okay, when Revelation said, well, we will be in the spiritual Sodom and the spiritual Egypt. Okay, and this is where we at. Esau's a new pharaoh. All right. America, you know, is the new Sodom. Okay. It says the Lord is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. Yahweh shot in the chariot. The idols of Egypt trembled. The hearts of the Egyptians, all right, melt with fear. Okay, because those are in fear of the second coming of Yahweh shot. Okay, so they're getting tacky. All right, and you can tell that they're rushing. All right, this plan to set up this NWO, man, and they're all over the place. Okay, he says, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother. All right, so you have troops now, police and citizens, man. Okay, there's a tone being set for citizens to be police, okay, by American troops, man. And there's just division amongst division. Okay, and Trump is, you know, the perfect president to just have people extremely divided. Because either you look at this man as some great hero, some demigod, or you hate him. Okay, so there's divisions amongst divisions, man. Okay, it says brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province, man. Okay, so there's nothing but division in America, man. Okay, they're just these sects of people that hold on to these, all right, these vain ideologies that don't have nothing to do with nothing. Okay, whether you're a liberal or a conservative, you're still, all right, the dummy, all right, of the plot. Okay, whatever hat you put on, or this a MAGA hat or a rainbow hat, okay, whatever you put on, all right, you still a clown in the circus, man. You see, it said the Egyptians will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. They will plead with the idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead. You see, and these devils, all right, Esau is pulling off a lot of rituals. Okay, this devil is trying to really, the scripture say, stand down and thine enchantments, man. So this devil is coming with all stocks, man. You see, he's coming with everything on the left-hand side. All right, but what's happening is the Lord has this man confounded, man. You look at this devil and you see how all over the place he is. The Lord is confounding this age, man, this world, this empire. Okay, and the people, okay, that trust in this system, this empire, the Lord, verse 4, I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them, says the Lord of heaven's army. Okay, and right now Trump is that cruel master, man. Okay, that fierce king. Okay, he's all about force. Okay, he's pumped. All right, and if you go into Nero, all right, was a goddamn madman. Okay, he was a damn madman. You see, and the Lord is cranking these devil spirits up, man, to get back into, like scripture say, he should be like a madman, sparing none. Esau was tapping back into that mode. Okay, and it says the waters of the Nile will fail to rise, and the floods of the fields, the riverbed, all right, will be parched and dry. This system is drying up, man. Okay, the resources are going to be scarce. Supply chains are being, sabotaged. Okay, the abundance and, the flow of goods, okay, is going to decrease drastically, man. It says the canals of the Nile will dry up, and the streams of Egypt will stink with rotten reeds, okay, and rushes, okay. And this place is rotting out, man. America is rotting out, man. Okay, we're seeing this place rot from the inside out. Okay, the culture, the people, the music, the food, everything is rotting out, man. Okay, everything is being downgraded. Okay, and it just done. It says all the greenery along the the riverbank, and all the crops along the river will dry up and blow away. The fishermen will lament for lack of work, the workforce. Okay, people crying every, you got this guy here. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull him up real quick. What's my guy name? He made a living off you niggas crying about being fired. Let me see if I can find this nigga, man. Is it? Let's see. Oh, yep. He popped straight up. I'm saying, nigga. So you go here to this guy. I'm gonna finish this some more. It says the fishermen will lament for lack of work. Those who cast hooks into the Nile will groan, and those who use nets will lose heart. Yeah, these different industries are failing. The trucking industry was just hit. Okay. The nigga woman lost 106,000 jobs last month. Okay, said there will be no flax for the harvesters, no thread for the weavers, man. Okay, the whole tariffs, these small business wasn't able to, buy particular things. All right, it's just all these what we're seeing is just America being sabotaged for failure, man. Okay, so they will be in despair, and all the workers, all right, will be sick at heart, man. Okay, people are stressed. People had these government jobs. They've been slashing the government. Okay, people have, because they live in debt. There's a lot of people, they miss one check, man, and they're done for. Their situation spirals out of control. Okay, so you go here. Let's say you get this guy. Let me pull him up. Pull up this guy. Yeah. So this guy here, Jay Reed. All right, he done made a living off you niggas crying. Okay, you go to let's see, go to video. All right, and you look at the titles. All right, 250,000 Americans applied for unemployment last week alone. Okay, Chevron lays off entire plant after company cuts, 30% of its workers. All right. Clothing prices explode after tariffs, and Americans are furious. Okay, just look at the titles. He trusted Trump, now giving up for insane cost of living. Okay. He trusted Trump. Now his real estate business is in ruins. Okay, this place is just being dismantled, man. Okay, let's see what they say about this unemployment. Okay, play a little bit of it.
Well, breaking fuck the news. The U.S. government has announced that the unemployment applications raised 8,000 last week, which brought the number to 247,000 people who applied for unemployment, which is the most that has ever been since October of last year. You guys know I'm taking this one personally because I ain't applied for that shit. So that motherfucker's about to be 247,001. Fuck.
If you ever wonder why the gym's always so busy on a random Tuesday at like 10 a.m., this video's for you. Daniel Tosh made this amazing joke in one of his specials a few years back, and he said 10% of Americans don't deserve jobs, and he dropped the mic. And that kind of scratched my head in all the right ways. So I went and did the math so you don't have to. So right now, the United States Labor Bureau reports that the unemployment rate is about 4%. Well, that is only factoring the active workforce. And if you look up the active workforce numbers, that's around 160 million Americans out of around a 330 million American population. So that means about 50% of America is either actively working, has a part-time job, or is looking for a job, unemployed. That leaves 50% of people without a job. So they're just doing whatever on a daily basis. And of that 50% that's actually in the workforce, if you take away the part-time jobs and you take away the people who are unemployed, that only leaves about 75% of the people who actually have a full-time job working Monday through Friday. And now with work-life balance and people being able to work remotely, and they can, you know, be a little more flexible with their schedule, they can go to the gym at Tuesday at 10 a.m. So when you look at those numbers, that's only about 36% of the United States population that is actually working a 9-to-5 job or is fully employed. So there you go.
You know, I genuinely.
So yeah, this is this guy. You know what I'm saying? He makes, let's say, his that's his whole platform. You know, so you want to hear some niggas complain, okay, about their current situation. Okay, it'll be this guy. You know, what's it, Chevron.
The difference between working for a big corporation or a smaller company or third-party company is that a big corporation will fire or let people go to increase their profits. And that's what Chevron is doing right now. They're going to be letting go of 20% of their worldwide employees. So that means around 6,000 to 8,000 people will be out of a job by the end of 2025. And on top of firing these 8,000 people, they're going to put all the work that these 8,000 people are doing onto somebody else and barely give them a raise or compensate them for the extra work they're going to have to be doing. Sometimes working for a smaller company, it's a lot better because you are able to grow with that company. You're able to put yourself out there for them, and you're not just a number. A big corporation is harder to move up the ladder.
On day one, I will lower the grocery costs. On day one, I will stop the war.
What happened to that? I'd never seen him fix none of the things he said he would. And you guys still sit there with your little excuses. Oh, things have to get worse before they get better. No, they fucking don't, bro. You just, I don't know. I don't even know what to think about Trump supporters anymore. But anyways, let's not think about negative stuff. Hope everybody has
my ass. I don't know if it's just me, but I am exhausted. Between work, finances, friends, family, constant political news, and a whole bunch of other shit that I really don't feel like talking about, it's been belt to ass. It seemed like every day is some new shit. Every goddamn day.
There, a dude came in, he said they laid off 30% of my fucking company because of tariffs. We looked, we said, God damn. We said, did you make it? He said, yes, I'm good. 30% of the company, right. So that has to be a startup of some sort. But just think about 30% of your workforce getting clipped. Because whatever industry, company he works for is getting, they're getting abused that much by these tariffs. One thing that I...
Yeah, man. So, that's the guy, Jay Reed. Okay. So, yeah, them niggas crying, man. But this is all prophecy, man. You know? Let's read this again. Show you prophecy don't miss, man. All right. So you go to Isaiah 19:8. It said the fishermen will lament for lack of work. Those who cast hooks into the Nile will groan, and those who use nets will lose heart. There will be no flax for the harvesters, nor thread for the weavers, man. Okay, so they're just destroying the workforce. All right, you know, they're bringing in, they're getting AI. Okay, ready to go. Okay, they want to depop. Okay, that's an agenda. They want to depopulate, and they want you people, all right, to X each other out, man. It says they will be in despair, and all workers will be sick, all right, at heart. Okay, verse 11 says, "What fools are the officials of Zoan?" And this goes into the leadership, man, because Esau, like I said, this is like, what is this nigga doing? You know, it says their best counsel to the king is stupid and wrong. Will they boast to Pharaoh of their wisdom? Will they dare brag about all their wives and sisters, man? Okay, because you look at Esau and how he's moving, you know, like this nigga got beef, you know, the Ukraine got, you know, small hats. They fight every goddamn body. Okay, America's, you know, EU falling out. Okay, America want to buy Canada and Greenland. It's like, What are y'all doing? Okay, now you got this situation where they just deporting, okay, random people. Okay, riots, another, crisis actor reporter getting shot, supposedly with a rubber bullet. She from Australia. Like, what is this nigga doing, man? You see? And this nigga, one of his tactics is just to have you so exhausted with all this shit that you just check out, and go with the flow. Okay? But as we look at this thing from the outside looking in, okay, we can see that this man ain't got it, man. He's reaching his straws, man. Okay? And it says, where are your wise counselors? All right? Where's the wisdom of Teman? Okay? Where's your wise counselors, Pharaoh? Let them tell you what the Most High plans, what the Lord of Heaven army is going to do to Egypt. And we telling you what he's going to do. Okay? And Esau doing all this back and forth and left and right, all the zigzagging to try to avoid the inevitable, man. And that's this place being judged, man. America being the desert, and you Edomites going to captivity, man. Okay? When you get through all this goddamn foolishness that you're doing in the earth, man, your ass going into captivity, man. Okay? This guy needs to be chained up and given plenty to do, man. Because this man and his rulership is a badass child, man. Okay? It said the officials of Zoan are fools, and the officials of Memphis are deluded. The leaders of the people have led Egypt astray, man. And you Americans, you're all over the place. You don't know what you believe, you don't know what's real or fake. You're addicted to all type of madness, from the food to the drug to the attention to social media. Okay? You pro this, you anti that. You don't know what's going on, man. Okay? You hate your government, but you're the first one in line to vote. Okay? You got women still arguing with men about goddamn a table. You see, niggas still popping a balloon. Here it is, we in the midst of the worst time ever, and it's a nigga popping a goddamn balloon. Your leaders are niggas like Fort Extra and Aaron the plumber. You like, what? Yeah. This is what American leadership has got you people, man. Okay? This is what your leadership has gotten you to. You don't know what the hell is going on. Okay? Verse 14, it says, the Lord has sent a spirit of foolishness on them. Okay? A spirit of foolishness, man. I think the brother got that, man. Hold on, let me go to it. A spirit of foolishness is in America, man. The brother, I was gonna do a separate video, but hey, the spirit wanted to come out. Let's get this to Elder Brother Shaquat from down here. I think his last video that he did. I'm trying to get like that brother on the compilation. Look at the spirit that's on people, man. Let's play this. And guess who's at the front? All right. Guess who's all right, on the front line. Okay, as usual. Okay. So let's play this real quick. I say this to the beloved Elder Brother Shaquat from down here in the GMS Mississippi camp. But the scripture says there's a foolish spirit that's on Egypt. Okay. There's not many adults in America, man. All right, and you're gonna see this here, and this child has the most sense. Okay, well, this is your adults and your people that's supposed to maintain society, man. Okay.
Never been a culture that survived 3 generations after they embraced and normalized sexual immorality.
Yep.
We are in generation 3. America's falling Wow. By the grace of God, we could maybe be safe. There hasn't been a culture that turned from this position, ever. America is in a place, I argue, we've passed Sodom and Gomorrah, we've passed the Roman Empire. If it wasn't for Jesus Christ being resurrected out of the tomb, and we have grace and mercy every day, we're done. We're toast.
Back in 1995, and we quote, "I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline."
And what she said, clutching their crystals and nervously consulting their horoscopes, all right, our critical faculties in decline, all right, and we just read that, all right, we just read that. Let's post it again, Isaiah 19, okay, and 3. You see, because America was founded on witchcraft, man. This is a very, all right, pagan, okay, idolatrous society, man. You know, knowing and unknowing, you know, but the majority of things that people do is rooted in idolatry, some type of witchcraft, whether they know, okay, or they're tapped in, or whether they don't know. But most of the customs of America go back. That's why it's known as the daughter of Babylon, spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, because it just embraces, it embodies all the wickedness of those cultures, man. It said the Egyptians will lose heart. Isaiah 19:3 says the Egyptians will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. They will plead with their idols for wisdom, okay, and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead, okay. And the witchcraft is fading. You know, the Lord allowed, you know, this place to, you know, prosper, you know, in this wickedness, and, you know, freedom, because freedom of religion really is freedom, okay, to do what you want outside the truth, outside of righteousness. Okay, because you see, they began to ban anything that had to do with the Bible. They took prayer out of school. Okay, but now they have Satan after school now. Okay, you see, so this devil, you know, has really transitioned into a dark. America has transitioned to a dark place, man, and there's nothing left but judgment to come forward, man. Okay, so let's let this play some more.
Unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide almost without noticing back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less. Lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance.
You're afraid of Trump? You should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inbox. masses. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
And I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
Cookies on there. 7 days a week. Make that pull up every week. Drop a box in my butt. Yeah, he's fucking my dog. The ass pussy. Focus at your man. If he right here with me, turn up with my niggas. Hey, turn up with my bitches. Hey, turn up at my show. Hey, turn up at that beat.
Is that it?
For my baby dad. For my baby dad. For my baby dad. I'm a fine ass bitch. I ain't in the house. Sexy. For my baby dad. Bow, 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 bow. That's that booty beat. Hey, 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 hey. That's the booty teeth.
Thank you.
Ooh, ooh, 50,000 do some nails on the screen. Every time I'm out, now you know I ATE. It hurt. Face, ass, teeth. Hurt. Face, ass, teeth. Let's go. CMD, chroma skin, 5 bodies, get you 10, rare, dumb, bills, break, every slime in the business. I ain't looking for no man, I'm recruiting no friends. Do it bad, do it bad, go sexy, do your dance. Get it sexy, get it sexy, get it sexy, get it sexy.
I am a gay Christian, and I have the Spirit of God inside of me. The time that I felt most filled with the Holy Spirit was when I kissed a woman. That is when I was filled with peace and joy. That is a personal experience to the beautiful fruit of the Spirit of God being in my relationship with my wife and in our children.
Can you link that fruit back to the Bible?
There's no scripture that you can point to that can disprove that, because it's about my personal relationship with my soul and heart.
I have 2 scriptures.
I just told you, you cannot use scripture, sir.
But that's-
If you're going to hold the Bible above my personal relationship with Jesus Christ, then you have held the Bible as an idol.
What Bible do you read? I'm just curious. The Holy Bible?
I actually feel like a better question
okay,
is
but
what Bible do you
translate?
read?
Well, normally I do a lot of talking, too much, as one of my dear friends likes to remind me, but this time I have come here to listen. You, Calvin, are one of the very few who are prepared to discuss what is going on in the church and the implications this has for the wider community, especially those like myself who are not religious but fear the creep of Marxism. I'd like to begin by asking you the really tough question. Does the Christian church still influence a world where even conservatives are increasingly irreligious? And if the church were to lose its traditional identity, what does that mean for society at large?
Well, big question. I think we have to differentiate here between the West and the rest of the world, because the West is falling. It does feel like, the end of the Roman Empire right now, with decadence and degeneracy everywhere and kind of values out of the window, and our way of life is deteriorating before our very eyes. And that includes the church, the Western church. The Anglican church in the West, at least in England, Wales, Scotland, Australia, Canada, and America. However, when we look further afield to the African continent and Southeast Asia, we see, and Eastern Europe as well, we see that the faith is strong and their values are strong as a result. Traditional values, family values, Christian values, it's all the same thing. But without the faith, it's very difficult for a good society to survive. And I think this is a problem we have in the West, in that a lot of conservatives have decided that they don't need the faith to be conservative. And I would suggest that actually, probably it's difficult to see the world in a certain perspective unless you have the faith, because a lot of people say this is a cultural war that we're in right now. We're fighting for our culture. No, it's not a cultural war. It's a spiritual war. We're fighting for the very soul of our way of life.
Good, I think I'm gonna get all of them.
Yeah, basically.
Fold them up.
there with all that. Go on over there with all that. Go. I'm not even in the mood today. Get away.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go.
What are you talking about?
Shit.
What are you talking about?
Seth, come on over here.
Come with us to go find out who Pickle real daddy is, because who we thought was her daddy might not be her daddy no more, so we gotta go find out who he really is. So come with us, come with us, come with us. You excited?
Yeah.
Period, because you need to know who your daddy is, right? Yeah. Period. Like, hello. Okay, here we go, right here, y'all. DNA connect. Come on. Oh, it's closed. I thought it was closed, but I gotta read. Hopefully they still open. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little tad bit embarrassing, because it's like I feel like everybody's staring at me or something. Answer the bell. You ready?
Yeah.
Bye, nigga. Yeah, man. So let's read this, man. This is prophecy don't miss, man. This is Isaiah 19:14. This is brother Bayan Yasha'Allah said, the Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggered in his vomit. And we're seeing, America culture is just, like a drunkard, man. People are drunken, okay, off Babylon. And now, it's just they're overwhelmed, okay, and they're staggering, they're throwing up, falling in it, trying to stand up and slipping in it. This is American culture, man. A complete shit show, man. And it only gets worse, So let's yeah, man, let's end it with the missiles, we gotta end it with the missile. Let's get 2 Peter 3:10 and 11. And let's get, matter of fact, 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 13. Yeah, man. Nah. But it's just a lot going on. So you see, you got the Trump, okay, you got the LA, situation, rumors about the Marines being dispatched. National Guards are in effect. Okay. Then you got, people are complaining about, these certain industries, all right, are cutting their workforce. Okay. And then you just got a perverse spirit in America, man. Okay. And the soundtrack of America is absolutely atrocious, man. The music, the fact that this, you see that the playlist, you listen to the playlist of America, and it's absolutely atrocious, man. Okay. It's 2 Peter 3:10. It's from the brother Anaji MS All In 144. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Man, the Lord, okay, is just about to destroy America and just completely melt America and the people in it, man. Okay, we're finna see America be melted, man. Okay, and it's gonna be a thief in the night, because people are gonna be doing dumb things. These people are just so perverted and gone. Okay. Verse 11. Let's keep reading. All right, and it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a thief to the masses, man, because most people are so occupied, okay, in folly. All right. And it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in holy conversation and godliness, man? So seeing that we see the trajectory, what we see where this place is headed, man. We see that the prophecies hold supreme. Okay, and America is doing everything to earn being turned into a desert. Okay, and as we see these things, what manner of person should we be? What type of spirit should we be in? What should be our conduct? Okay. Should we be entangled, more? Nah, man, this place is done. Okay, it's to the point now. We use this world just enough to get by. All right, and we retreat, man. Going back to the method of Yahushua, teach and retreat, man. Yahushua will teach, do miracles, and get the hell away from niggas, man. Okay? Hey, we got to let these people have it, man. Okay? That's why the spirit been on apostles. We not here to argue with you niggas anymore. All right? You niggas pop up on the comment board with dumbass questions. Okay? Just go teach whatever you think is right. Or just go to one of the protests, man. You niggas want some action and want to be seen. Take your ass out there to a protest, man. Okay? I'll take a long walk off a short bridge, man. Okay? Because we beyond that. We here to edify the elect. Anything else beyond that, them petty arguments, man, we done. Okay? We moving on, man. We running, towards Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, man, while this world is going up in flames. It said, looking forward and hasten until the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, man. Okay, and that's the nukes, man. That's the only thing left for America, man. Ain't nothing to debate about. Okay, ain't no problems. Ain't no solution to any of America's problems except the nukes. Okay, these podcasts are a waste of time. Okay, people saying go get your therapy. Therapy waste of time. Okay, the only thing that's gonna be therapeutic, and it's gonna be therapeutic to the Lord, is to nuke this place, man. All right, turn people into liquid. Okay, this is verse 13 said, nevertheless, we according to the promise look for a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. All right, and we're ready for the Lord to hit that reset button. Be ready for the Lord, the slain of the Lord, to be from one end of the earth to the other, man. For America to get the same judgment, with Sodom. Okay, we're ready for these things, man. We haste that day. We looking forward to the promise now, man. Okay, it's game over. The brother said it's done. You see, so that was the point. Just wanted to go into those things. A few videos I was watching. Just put it on wax. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time, I say shalom. Poem Yashala, Bible, Shalom.